Hello, everybody. My name is JD Schulten, and I'm honored to be here with State Representative Lindsey James.
I'm also honored to be here with you, JD. But even more importantly than us right now is candidates who are vying for the IDP chair. So, in a couple of short weeks, many of you may know, but the Iowa Democratic State Central Committee will be voting on our next chairperson. And so we are engaging in interviews of these candidates so that you can reach out to your state central committee and let them know who you believe is the best fit to lead the Iowa Democratic Party. So we're very excited to have you on, Jody. Thank you for being here.
Yes, thanks for inviting me on. This is great.
Yeah, and I just want to thank again the Iowa Democratic Wingding Committee for hosting this. And with that, Lindsey, do you want to ask the first question?
First question, and we're going to ease you into it, Jody. First question is just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. My name is Jody Clemens. I live over in rural Cedar County, just east of Iowa City area. Live here with my husband and two children. My daughter is in college right now. She's home on break, and my son is finishing up eighth grade this semester. So pretty busy here in our household. I ran for the Iowa House in 2018 here in District 73 against Bobby Kaufman. If you would have asked me even in 2016 if I would have ever run for office, I would have told you no way, not a chance. But 2016 kind of changed the game. So I started an Indivisible Iowa group here in my area, and we made that our main focus was the state legislature and making sure that my opponent did not go unopposed again. So I jumped into that race. The Indivisible team pretty much became like my campaign. We ended up taking almost 45% of the vote in a rural red district, running on progressive policies, knocked on 14,000 doors in our state house district, and just had so much fun doing it. So really got the passion for organizing. Went on to work on the Bernie Sanders campaign for the 2020 caucus. I was regional field director. After the caucus, I went and led the state of Utah for the Bernie Sanders campaign. With my team of 4, we ran the entire state for 6 weeks, and ended up winning that contest, had double the amount of the next closest. So we were pretty excited about that win. And then I went on to lead the state of Wyoming. Unfortunately, got sent home early because COVID hit, and then Bernie dropped out shortly after. I was then the campaign manager for the Kimberly Graham Senate race here in Iowa. Came in again in the last couple months there to help get it across the finish line. And then I went to People's Action, where I was a digital distributed organizer. And that was just an amazing experience, talking to rural voters in 8 different states, convincing progressives to vote for Biden, just really doing deep conversations with people across the country.
That's fantastic. So, with the role of the IDP chair, could you talk about what your vision for what you want to do and for the party?
Yeah, absolutely. So, one of the main things that I believe we need to shift our focus to is to one of more like a 365-day a year organizing structure. The having the First in the Nation caucus is amazing for all the attention it brings to Iowa, all of the money it brings into Iowa. But so many of the organizers come from out of state, and we have all of this energy, and then it all just disappears right after we're done with an election. So I think we need to start building local power here on the ground for people to be able to organize in their own communities. And I think the best way to do that was a model that we were able to do at People's Action. Obviously, in COVID, we weren't able to go out face to face. So we were able to create a digital, basically like a field office where volunteers could come in. They had a place where they could vent, they could learn and grow with each other, and then take on leadership roles. And I think we can duplicate that here. There are so many volunteers I've talked to that had a problem plugging in to the 2020 election here in Iowa, just didn't quite know where to get started to be able to volunteer. So I envision having this system running all year round, to where we always have something to do, to be able to train candidates, train campaign workers, get service projects going in communities, recruit candidates, et cetera. And so, my vision for that is I'd like to create a third fund Right now, we have the Senate Majority Fund and the House Truman Fund. I think that we need a community organizing fund. I'm sure you guys have heard some of this as well. People that hesitate to donate to the party because they just aren't quite sure where that money's going to go, or donating to one of the other funds versus one of their local candidates. And so, I think that there's a big missed opportunity of grassroots activists and people that just really want to see change in their own communities. That if we opened up this third fund and the money would just be spent on this, this digital organizing, training people how to go out into their own communities, I think that we can really open up a whole new bucket of fundraising to help us be able to sustain that kind of 365-day a year organizing.
Well, Jody, you actually led me into the next question perfectly. Beautifully. Thank you for that. The next question really is, I mean, that is a robust vision that will demand some resources. So you talk a little bit about this fund. How do you plan to fundraise to match
Yeah.
this vision?
Absolutely. So I think one thing that that several of the progressive candidates across the country have shown, JD being one of them, is that grassroots donations work. When you put your faith behind the people, they will put their faith into you. And so I think that that is kind of untapped right now as a party structure. So that's my vision of opening that up, but also having these programs going on, having this progress to report on, to then be calling out to our donors and not just, hey, we need more money to prepare for an election in 2 years, but hey, this is what we're doing right now. It's really exciting. The volunteers are here ready to do the work. Can you help us fund it? Can you help us get, more time on the dialer, more text to be able to send out, more resources to go out on the doors with, to just be able to get excitement and get people to be able to see what we're accomplishing and what their dollars can do to help us accomplish even more. So I think we need to get the infrastructure in place and then just ask for the fuel to be able to run it.
One of the things we often hear about is criticism of the IDP, whether it's the chair or just the whole entity. But what's one thing you think the IDP has done actually well?
I think they've done a great job on communicating with the legislature, what's going on in the legislature, to keep us informed with their press releases. I really appreciate knowing what bills are coming through from both houses, keeping us informed. I think they've done a good job at helping have resources for the county parties. I think we need a little bit of work on how to actually get those resources to them and help them be able to use them more efficiently with tools and the like. But I really do think that there's room for improvement in almost every area, but that doesn't mean that we're completely failing.
Great. So next question for you, Jody. Why do you want to be chair, and what makes you the right person to do it?
Yeah, absolutely. So, a big part of it is that over the last several years, I've been able to work alongside a lot of different ideologies among the Democratic spectrum here. I have the support of grassroots organizations across the state. I'm really, close with organizers in Sunrise Movement and, the DSA. And there's just so many amazing grassroots organizations that have popped up even since 2016. And so many people do not feel like they have a home in the Iowa Democratic Party right now. Maybe they've tried to get involved in their county party, but just were met with, personality clashes, or they were wanting to do some different things than what was normally going on. I think that the biggest strength that I can bring into this role is to be able to have that welcoming presence, to bring people back into the party, to build a stronger Democratic Party where we really are using our diversity as a strength instead of a weakness that's dividing us apart. That's part of the vision of having this digital organizing structure, is we get to work alongside each other clear across the state of all different, whether you're, consider yourself progressive, moderate, all across the spectrum. We all have basically the same set of values as Democrats. And if we can tap into that and get some wins together, I think that we can really go a long way of healing. My leadership style is a very collaborative approach. I believe in putting together teams that meet each other's strengths and weaknesses, and then just creating a positive work environment to where people love coming to work every day. That is the model that I use in volunteering when I have had when I've been in management, is just really making sure that, whether it's an employee or a volunteer, that they feel appreciated, that they are grounded in the work that we're doing, and they know, what that purpose is that they're showing up to do every day, and just being able to keep the communication going. That was one thing that I stepped in with the Kimberly Graham campaign and just helped. There was some communication breakdowns going on. Campaigns are very stressful, and so just being able to pull everybody together and some pep talks, some structures put in place to make things go smoother. It was a lot of fun.
What do you think is the role of the IDP chair? Like, what? I think a lot of people have a misnomer of what it actually is. So, what would you describe it or define it as?
Yeah, I mean, I would define it as like the person driving the train. So the person that is helping make sure that the projects are getting done, that you are overseeing everybody, making sure there's not duplication of efforts, that we are, communicating among all of our different committees, the legislature, both, the House and the Senate, and just really getting our name out there. I think, one of the biggest roles of the chair is going to be in PR and having your face out there talking about what we are as Democrats. I think we've become a bit of a myth in some places in Iowa where they may not know or have any friends that are Democrats. And so they're just taking whatever, misnomers they're hearing from others about what we are. And I think one of the biggest roles that the chair is going to need to step in and run on is, what are we as Democrats? What are we fighting for? What are some, collective ideas that across the state that we can really be out there on doors, on phones, in between elections, and telling people, these are the things we're fighting for. What's going on in your life? What things do you need? How can we help you? How can we make things better?
Awesome. Lindsay, do you have anything else?
I do. Well, I wanted to ask, what else do we need to know about you, Jody? What question didn't we ask you that we should have asked you?
Yes. So I think, I thrive in chaos. Like, I absolutely love, like right now I'm helping out with the special election in Senate District 41. And I'm just like so excited. Like, it's 3 weeks. Let's go. Let's do this. Let's go, hit some doors and make some phone calls and organize volunteers. I think just being able to bring that kind of energy in, have run show choir competitions in the past. I don't know if any of you are familiar with that, but they get pretty intense. And that is my element when I am, in with hundreds of volunteers and multiple schools and just making sure all the pieces fit together. So, I see this as a big challenge, but one that I'm actually really excited to get in and do. I think opening up communication among the different groups. I'm a state central committee member as well as a member of the DNC. Communication is really lacking in a lot of these areas. And I think that is one really easy thing that we can fix on day one to be able to bring people together. I noticed just talking to people across the state, say central committee members and other volunteers, we don't know each other. Like, we're a pretty small group of super active volunteers, but we don't really know each other. And so, that's one of my biggest strengths, is connecting people and getting people that may not have seen eye to eye in the past to be able to work together. And I'm really excited about the opportunities that we are presented with right now, because literally, I mean, anything is possible. We can try, as many new things as we need to find the right fit to make the Iowa Democratic Party successful.
Well, fantastic. That's all I have. Anybody else?
Yeah, I think that's it.
Okay,
Do we know how to reach you?
Yeah.
Oh, yes. So yes, you can reach me. I have a Facebook page. It's Jody 4 Iowa is the facebook.com/Jody 4 and then the word Iowa. We just about have the website up and ready to go. Doing the final touches on that. Should be ready here in a few days. Took a little bit longer because I'm now helping throw together the Senate district race. But and then as well, if you would like to set up a meeting to talk with me before this election occurs, I have an online calendar. So if you go to calendly.com/that Jody 4 Iowa, you can just go ahead and put time right on my calendar, whether you want to meet on Zoom or you would like to have a phone call, and we can talk, and I can answer your questions and hear your ideas as to how we move this state party forward.
Well, that's awesome. And thank you so much for jumping in and being a candidate and for your time today. Thank you, State Representative Lindsey James, and thank you for the Iowa Democratic Wingding Committee for hosting this. So with that, thank you all for watching.
Yes, thank you.